Good evening and salutations, my Days of Elias fans. So, something that I forgot to mention yesterday. I think I've actually thought about this for a couple of days and it just kept slipping my mind. So, this devil, possession storyline. One of the things that I'm noticing about this storyline is that it gets to reset a lot of things. Um, I don't exactly remember what couple was meant to talk about this, or one person was meant to talk about this, but somebody was meant to say one of the devil's missions is to break out, couples and things of that nature. Um, and so far, that's literally what the devil's done. Johnny and Chanel, Allie and Trip, Jake and Gabby, Sean and Belle, and if there's more, I can't remember. But my point is that it's a way to sit there and reset a lot of things. Um, and we already seen that so far with Trip and Alley. I mean, let's really think about this for a minute. Yeah, it, okay, so let's really think about this for a minute. Allie wasn't even drunk. She wasn't under the influence of anything. She got in bed with her. And yeah, okay, you want to sit there and comfort her and be like, hey, you'll find somebody better, this, that, and the third. Okay, fine. But you literally kissed her and just said towards the end, oh, well, it just kind of happened. No, it didn't just kind of happen. You made a choice. Okay. And this wasn't even the first time that she cheated on him. This is the second time. And even, the first time that she did it, Trip was like, all right, whatever. It was just a kiss and, you kind of squashed it. But then you decided to just full blown have sex with her. Like, and then sit there and start crying, talking about it was a mistake. What? So, starting with Belle and Sean, one of the things that was annoying me with Belle was that she was just coming across as a hypocrite. I understood the fact that she wasn't so much upset with the fact that, he had sex with Jan. It was the fact that he lied about it for months. And again, the storyline just kind of comes out of nowhere as far as, oh, so Belle didn't really sit there and stop them from having sex. And Sean just decided to just keep quiet because he just felt embarrassed about it. Like Jan Spears wasn't just gonna never say anything about it. Are you serious? So okay, so yeah, so they find out that, the baby is Sean's, and, Sean brings up the fact that, hey, I've forgiven you when you decide to cheat on me with Philip, and she gets upset, and she's like, well, I can't believe you're throwing that in my face after so long ago. Sweetheart, I don't care how long it was. I don't care if it was 20 years ago, if it was 20 days ago. You still did him wrong. And yeah, you apologized for it and you moved on and everything like that, but it still happened and he still extended that courtesy to you. So, what is Belle's new excuse now? Oh, well, I just can't get over the fact that you're having a baby with her and I feel like this is over. And I'm like, I feel like they just tried any sort of. I felt like they did whatever they could to find a way to break them up. Because in reality, he didn't know that he was having sex with Jan. And yeah, you know, they're having a baby together, and that sucks. And I understand that she may be angry and hurtful a little bit, but it was almost like she was reaching for. It was almost like she was reaching for a reason to end it with him. First, it was the lie, even though you cheated on him. Oh, I can't believe you're throwing that in my face. No, it's the fact that you guys are having a baby together. Okay, so she winds up going to the bar, and eventually EJ winds up meeting up with her. decides, listen, I'm not, I'm not gonna let you just sit there and drink alone. So, he was just there, just sit there and listen, more support, and just kind of just being a good friend. Um, and we all know where that's gonna go. Okay, let's let's just be honest. The writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall the minute that she took his case. The writing was on the wall as far as them being together, which is exactly why I was just saying about a big reset button. So let's talk about Chanel. So Chanel finds Allie, and Allie walks up to her, and after they hug, and she explains, where she's been at, and this, that, and third. Allie is possessed. Allie is like, yeah, I don't think we should be together anymore. It's hurting too many people. It's hurting Johnny, and it's hurting Trip, and we just move too fast, and this, that, and the third. And Chanel is shocked. She's crushed. She doesn't understand what's going on. It just kind of came out of nowhere. And even after a while, when Allie was trying to break up with her, it came across as very cold. Very cold. That same feeling that she got when Trip. I mean, not with Trip. When Johnny wound up breaking up with her. It's very callous. And there was a point where Chanel was like, this feels exactly like Johnny. It feels like I'm talking to the same person. Um, but yeah, she was like, "Yo, listen, it's over. It's done." Um, and then Chanel's like, "Well, what about the bakery?" And Allie is like, "Yeah, I didn't put a sentence there. You can have it. I'm good." And so she just practically told her, "Hey, listen, why don't you leave? I gotta go to sleep before Henry wakes up." At that point, Chanel just has that look on her face like, what happened? This is crazy. And she goes outside, she's crying and everything like that. And it's truth be told, and I know this sounds very dickish, but I'm gonna sit there and say it anyway. There was a part of me that just did not feel bad for her. For so many reasons, besides the fact that I just generally do not like this character, but you've been eyeing her for a hot minute, even when she was in a relationship with somebody else, you kept eyeing her, and it was one of those things where it's like it just made it feel like you kept going after her, regardless if she was in a relationship with somebody else. And yeah, you kept dressing up like, oh, we're just best friends and this, that, and the third. But come on, seriously? Then you wound up having sex with her, knowing she was in a relationship with somebody else. So when that whole thing falls apart, less than 2 weeks, she's like, hey, I think we should sit there and be together. What did you want to think it was going to wind up? What did you think was going to wind up happening? You move that fast on top of everything else that you were doing up until that point, and also, she just came out. You know, um, and so there's that. There's so many different things that's going on, and the fact that you just decide to just be in a relationship with this woman who just came out, who just ended her relationship with somebody else less than 2 weeks ago, and you thought that y'all two were on solid ground? Really? So yeah, she goes outside, she cries, and that pretty much just kind of ends that. So EJ comes over to see Clyde, and he's like, "Yeah, now that we're not in jail anymore, and I don't really need you, yeah, we gotta talk." And bottom line is, he gives him a plane ticket. Well, he gives him directions or whatever, or a new passport or something like that to meet the pilot. And he's pretty much like, "Yeah, you know what? I want you out of this town, like yesterday." He's like, "I'm gonna set you with some money and everything like that. I just want you gone." And at first Cloud is like, what are you talking about? Yada yada yada. And Ben walks in. Ben's pretty much like, "What's going on?" So Clyde's like, "Yeah, he gave me a job, but I don't really want to go, and it'll violate my parole terms, and I'm gonna be a grandfather soon, so yeah, I really can't do it." And EJ just has that look on his face, like, and he says to him, he's like, "Well, I'm very disappointed." He walks off after giving him the most stink eye look that he can possibly muster, and walks out. Now, Ben had to sit there and tell Clyde to kind of, one, what are you doing talking to him? I thought you were on a straight and narrow. I thought you were on a straight and narrow. Like, what are you sitting there doing talking to him? You know he's up no good. Like, you say you were reformed. Then he also tells Clyde to sit there and kind of dial it down a notch as far as, trying to overdo it with Sierra. Um, because, Sierra was sitting there talking about Clyde and how, you know, she doesn't want Clyde in the baby's life and this, that, and the third. And I'm sitting there looking at it like, wait, so let me get this straight. A former serial killer who was killing people with a necktie. No, no, he's fine. But that guy, no, that guy gotta go. Now, I get it. Clyde has a pass. And to be honest, I don't know if it's that much of a pass. But I don't know. Maybe it was just the fact that she was just like complaining and whining a little bit. And she was all like, oh, well, I don't want him to try so hard and yada, yada, yada. It's like, I mean, at least he is trying. You say you want to sit there and build something for the baby and stuff like that. And I'm like, what do you want him to do? Like, he even offered to make her breakfast. And, she whined about that. I think at this point everyone knows how much I do not like Ben and Sierra. But I'm just like, really? So you cool with serial killer Ben? Like that's fine, but okay. Um Now of course, Ben also tells Clyde about the whole devil thing and coming after their child and yada yada yada, so he lets him know about that. Um Now at some point when Bella and Sean are sitting there talking, Sierra walks in. Sierra walks in and Sierra's like, what exactly did I walk in on? Bella leaves, and Sean tells her everything. That he lied about the whole having sex with her, and he's having a baby with um Jan Spears and everything like that. And Sierra's like, listen, just let her just chill for a little bit. It's kind of heated right now, and once she cools off, she'll probably sit there and eventually come back to you after she realized that I don't know how much you two love each other. Because to be honest, you didn't lie to her for months. Like I said, this is also a sloppy storyline the way that they did this whole thing. So, but again, it's just a way to sit there and reset a lot of the couples. Jake is gonna probably one up with Ava. Maybe I don't know who the hell is gonna be ending up with who at the end as far as Trip, Allie, Johnny, and Chanel. But good question. Oh, but we all do see the writing on the wall as far as EJ and Belle. So that's gonna be a thing. I know I put up the thumbnail yesterday and it looked really silly, but I'm like, as silly as it looked, it's not that far from the truth. The scenes with Chad and Abby, I'm gonna be honest, it didn't really go anywhere. All they did was they talked about EJ, they talked about Allie, um, and towards the end of the episode, Chad found a letter from Johnny. Now Johnny is still in the the Mara Crep or whatever, and he thinks that he's talking to Tony because Tony walks over. Well, what looks like Tony walks over. He's like, "Hey, you guys didn't get me out of here." And at this point, he's like, "I'm not Tony. I'm Andre, Tony's twin brother." And I'm like, you know what? This is the only time that this scene actually works because, well, he does have a real twin. Um, and pretty much, long story short is that he gets Johnny's blood to write a letter saying that he's going to, disappear from Salem. So that they're saying that, oh, well, I want to try this, I want to try that, and I just couldn't figure out what I wanted. And so he makes him some sort of BS letter basically saying that he's leaving Salem. And after he gives it to Chad, he just kind of leaves him there. And I'm just like, what happens if they don't believe the letter? I mean, yeah, most likely they probably will because with soap operas, a lot of times they tend to, you know, down downplay a lot of people's intelligence. But I'm just kind of looking at this whole thing. I'm like, all right, that's cool, but you just gonna leave loose ends, just kind of hanging around, the mayor crypt, like no one's gonna walk in there at any point in time. Um, okay, well, good luck with that. Now, the only thing that kind of sucked about Allie being possessed is like, well, it's a good thing the Cole's there. Because as much as she kind of annoys me sometimes, at least she would be there for Henry. Because, Allie's all possessed and everything. And, the devil's still so focused on Ben and Sierra's baby because reasons. I know there was an actual reason for it, but it's just like, okay, sure. I feel like that's about it. It was definitely a good episode. It was. It was a good episode. It's one of those things that, like, this week, for the most part, days in general have been on point. Where B&B has been just, well, not good. And Y&R, it's like, it just picks days when it decides it actually wants to be good to a point where it just wants to be very average and mundane. So, but I'm actually happy that Days is actually starting to get good again because there was some episodes where it was just like, man, this is this is a little kind of hard to kind of finish watching at this point. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Have a great, amazing, and safe weekend, and I will see you in the next video.